Welcome back to our channel, dear friends, on this absolutely gorgeous day. Now, I just have to pour my heart out to you about what has been going on with our dear Michael Corinthos. Bless his heart, the poor man has been carrying a burden so heavy lately that it is a wonder he can even manage to stand up straight these days. Just recently, I watched as Michael finally broke down and poured his very soul out to Jacinda Bracken. It was one of those raw, honest, and deeply vulnerable moments that just tugs right at your heartstrings and refuses to let go. You could see the sheer exhaustion and the pure, unadulterated sadness swimming in his eyes as he confided in her. It is not very often that we see Michael let his guard down so completely, but the emotional pain of his current situation has simply become too much for him to keep bottled up inside his chest. He desperately needed a listening ear, someone to just sit there and understand the sheer agony of a father who is separated from his precious little girl by circumstances entirely out of his control. During that incredibly heartfelt confession, Michael shared all the bittersweet details about little Daisy Gilmore's very first birthday. Lord knows a baby's first birthday is a monumental milestone that every single parent dreams about from the very moment they first hold their child in the delivery room. But this beautiful, joyous celebration took place all the way back in June, entirely off-screen and miles away from the father who loves her so incredibly much. Instead of Michael being right there to help blow out the single candle on her brightly colored cake, it was Sasha Gilmore Corbin, alongside Robert Scorpio and Holly Sutton, who gathered around to celebrate the sweet little angel. While I am honestly so very glad that Daisy was surrounded by love, laughter, and good people on her special day, it just breaks my heart into a million tiny pieces knowing that her daddy was not in the room to witness that magical, once-in-a-lifetime moment. Of course, Michael expressed a deep, profound sense of relief, knowing that his daughter is safe and sound out there in the world. Any parent worth their salt would feel that exact same wave of gratitude washing over them. He knows deep down in his bones that Sasha is a wonderful, fiercely protective mother, and that Daisy is being well cared for every single day. But that logical understanding does absolutely nothing to numb the deep ache in his soul. He wants to be close to her. He yearns to be the one picking her up when she falls and scrapes her knee, the one reading her favorite bedtime stories until she falls asleep, and the one holding her little hand as she bravely takes her very first steps across the living room floor. That deep, gnawing, yearning, that overwhelming desire to truly connect with his youngest daughter on a daily basis is eating away at him day by day, and frankly, it is just plain agonizing to witness as someone who cares about this family. And what makes this entire situation so incredibly infuriating, so hard a pill to swallow, is the undeniable fact that none of this heartbreaking separation had to happen in the first place. The root of all this misery leads right back to Willow Kane. Oh, goodness gracious, do not even get me started on Willow today. It just makes my blood boil hotter than a summer sidewalk to think about how she deliberately manipulated that poor, vulnerable Sasha. Willow actually went out of her way to make Sasha believe that there was some terrifying, dangerous stalker after them, lurking in the shadows. She planted those wicked seeds of fear so deep in Sasha's mind that the poor girl felt she had absolutely no choice but to pack up her bags in the dead of night, grab sweet little Daisy, and flee Port Charles just to keep her baby safe from harm. It was a cruel, highly calculated move, and it completely tore a beautiful family apart for absolutely no good reason at all. Now, I know full well that Michael has never been able to officially prove that Willow was the mastermind behind this wicked little scheme. The hard evidence just is not there on paper for the police to see. But let me tell you, every single one of us who has been faithfully watching this story unfold knows the absolute truth as clear as a bell. We all know beyond a shadow of a doubt that she is guilty of chasing Sasha out of town. This dreadful incident is just another classic, frustrating example of Willow completely dodging the consequences of her terrible actions. It seems like sweeping her mistakes under the rug has become a recurring theme in her life, and quite frankly, I am sick and tired of seeing her get away scotangent-free while Michael is left paying the ultimate, devastating price with his broken heart and empty arms. Thinking back to that first birthday celebration, it just hits me how incredibly tragic it is that the day came and went without Michael there to share in the overwhelming joy. That first birthday is not just a party with balloons and cake. It is a massive, irreplaceable milestone in a family's history. It marks the end of infancy and the beautiful beginning of a whole new chapter of toddlerhood. Michael missed the messy cake smashing, the innocent laughter, the family pictures, all the precious, fleeting memories that he would have cherished and held close to his heart for the rest of his natural life. If this heartbreaking trend continues, I am so terribly afraid that Michael is going to miss out on all the golden, irreplaceable years of Daisy's childhood. Those years are so short, and once they are gone, you can never ever turn back the clock to get them back. And let us be completely honest with each other here, because we all know exactly how things work in the fast-paced world of our favorite television stories. Children grow up in the absolute blink of an eye. One day they are in diapers, babbling in a crib, and the very next time you turn around, they are practically heading off to high school with a mind of their own. It is a phenomenon we have seen happen time and time again over the years. Because children age so rapidly in these dramatic tales, Michael is facing the very real, very terrifying risk of missing Daisy's entire childhood if something does not change right this very minute. The thought of him blinking and suddenly finding a grown woman standing before him, a daughter he never truly got to know or raise, is simply too tragic and heartbreaking to even contemplate. I know that Michael is trying his absolute best to stay involved from afar, bless his heart. He receives regular updates and watches the little video clips that Sasha is kind enough to send him on his phone. I am sure he sits alone in the quiet of his home and replays those short videos 100 times a day just to hear his baby's sweet voice and see her smile. But let us call a spade, staring at a cold glass screen is absolutely no substitute for having your warm, breathing child right there in your loving arms. A grainy video cannot replace the warmth of a tight hug, the sweet smell of baby shampoo after a bath, or the comforting feeling of a tiny head resting safely on your shoulder. It is a poor, hollow substitute for real life, and Michael deserves so much more than a distant digital relationship with his own flesh and blood. So many of us out here in the audience are just practically begging the writers and producers to step in and fix this dreadful situation once and for all. We want Michael to have the real chance to be a hands-on everyday father to Daisy. It would be a completely different story if Michael were some deadbeat dad who did not care a lick about his kids and wanted nothing to do with them. But that is simply not the case at all. We have all seen with our own two eyes what a magnificent, devoted, and loving father he is to little Wiley Corinthos and sweet Amelia Corinthos. He is endlessly patient, he is incredibly kind, and he loves his children with every single fiber of his being. He has so much love left to give, and little Daisy deserves to experience that boundless, protective, fatherly affection firsthand every single day of her life. When Michael originally agreed to let Sasha take the lead in raising Daisy by herself, it was a decision made out of deep respect and genuine love. He wanted to support her as a mother and give her the space she needed. But he made that monumental agreement with the firm, unwavering belief that Daisy would be living right there in Port Charles, just a stone's throw away from his front door. He thought he would be able to pop over for afternoon visits, take her to the local park to push her on the swings, and be a constant, reassuring presence in her everyday life as she grew up. He never in a million years agreed to this agonizing, long-distance separation that has torn his heart in two. Willow completely shattered that beautiful, cooperative plan, forcing Michael to endure a daily pain that no loving parent should ever have to bear. We can only pray that the tides will turn soon, because Michael has more than earned the right to have a central, vital role in his daughter's world. Now, I know some folks have been fretting and worrying because the lovely Sophia Matson, who brings our dear Sasha to life so beautifully, has recently taken on a brand new role over on Days of Our Lives. People are naturally worried that this casting change means Sasha and Daisy will never come back to our screens. But let me reassure you, my friends, that in this dramatic world we love so much, faces can and do change all the time. A character as important and beloved as Sasha can absolutely be recast with another talented actress who can step right into those shoes. The story is simply too important, and the emotional bond between Michael, Sasha, and Daisy is far too critical to just leave hanging in the wind unresolved. A recast would be a very small adjustment for us viewers to make, if it means finally bringing that sweet baby girl back home to Port Charles where she rightfully belongs. But just when I thought this story could not possibly wring another single tear from my tired eyes, something completely unexpected and earth-shattering happened that changed absolutely everything. Out of nowhere, Michael received a physical birthday card in the mail, sent directly from little Daisy. Can you even begin to imagine the sheer shock and overwhelming tide of emotion that must have coursed through his veins the moment he saw that envelope? Holding that physical piece of paper, something that had actually been near his daughter, was like a sudden bolt of lightning striking straight to his heart. It was a tangible, real-world connection, a sudden, desperate reminder of exactly what he was missing out on every day. I could practically feel his strong hands trembling as he carefully opened it, his heart hammering wildly against his ribs as he stared at the sweet little greetings inside that folded piece of paper. However, that beautiful, fleeting moment of connection quickly turned into a waking nightmare that would chill any parent to the bone. Along with that precious, innocent card came the most horrifying, blood-curdling realization a father could ever face. Michael discovered, through a twist of fate, that the danger Sasha had been running from all those months ago was not just some fabricated lie spun by Willow anymore. He learned, to his absolute horror and dismay, that Daisy and Sasha are now in very real, very imminent danger out there on their own. The shock of that terrifying discovery hit him harder than a runaway freight train. All the quiet sadness, all the gentle mourning for lost time, instantly evaporated into thin air, entirely replaced by the fierce, protective, mama bear-like instincts of a father whose family is under a very real threat. It is one thing to be sad about missing a birthday party. It is an entirely different, terrifying beast to realize your child's very life might be on the line.